Okay, this video let's talk about the cross development platform Dioxus in Rust. So it's a cross platform use application building framework in Rust, and yeah, you can build apps for web, desktop, mobile, and more. So this is the link for Dioxus documentation. It's dioxuslabs.com/learn, and it will looks like something like this. You have to include your Dioxus prelude and creating an app, and it's return an element, and the signal we will talk about it. It's a hook, and this is something like how we are building the UI. The RxX is the UI building templating macro. So you can do h1, that will give you a header, and you can create button for a button component. So that's what the start. So yeah, RxX, you'll be using an RxX semicolon macro. Dioxus is a declarative framework. This means that instead of telling Dioxus what to do, we simply declare what we want the UI to look like using RxX. RxX features. RxX is very similar to HTML in that it describes elements with attributes and children. An empty button element in RxX as well as resulting HTML. The simple button element, you will get a button with whatever we are giving the uh, string or the button text, that will be, yeah, inside. We have to mention inside this curly brackets. Attributes, you can add images. So attributes modify the behavior or appearance of the element they are attached to. They are specified inside curly brackets. So image, so you are adding an image with width. And input text is another thing we can build. And div will create a div inside. We'll get a specific div inside UI. Custom div, you can mention style, you can give width, height, and background color. I think that's something about the RxX. And components, just like you won't want to write complex program in a single long main function, you shouldn't be build a complex UI in a single app. So this is the basic app, and this is the about. So you're calling about twice inside the app here. Yeah, so that way you can create app, and there should be app component. I'm just looking at where the documentation is. Yeah, create. Yeah, yeah. You can define arguments that components can take when they are rendered, called props, by adding component macro before or function definition adding extra function arguments. So what you can do is, if you have a component, so this is an RxX div component and you want to have parameters to it, so this is called props. Props is a parameter to a component, and you can um, use those values, like whatever props we are passing, we can read through ampersand star read, that will read that element and populate the respective fields inside it. So that way you can use this value and create the component UI. So this all together you will get a component. You will see in our example, but this is the way it is. And props is the parameter we are passing to a component. So yeah, here if you derive props on this structure, component props are single struct annotated with props. For a component to accept props, the type of its argument must be your prop struct. Yeah, once you derive the props, you can use this as an argument props to your component. So likes is the component here, because that's where we mention the UI. So yeah, so here we are just using likes, and score 32, that's what we are passing. So 32 is a like, 42 can be used as a um, prop because it's implement props and it has I32. So that works as a component. So yeah, if you define something like this, and if it's generate element, you can use it here, like element, like button, it's likes. Props options. Yeah, we can have option props. So here we are defining deriving the props on this struct, but here option string is an option, sorry, subtitle is an option. So when we pass rxx title, where we use props dot title, we got title, props dot subtitle unwrap. Yeah, it can, it's an optional. So that's the reason we have to use, when we are using that value, we have to use like this. And when you are passing, you can pass title, some title, the first string, or with two. Title is this, subtitle is this. Oh, it should be the same name as what we have inside the props. Whatever we are passing should be the same. So here title same as this, subtitle same as this. Explicitly required options. So props, if you want explicitly require an option and not an optional prop, you can annotate with props not optional. Yeah, it should be none. You have to explicitly pass. Okay. Yeah. I think yeah, that's the basic. Yeah, component macro, that also we'll see. So far every component function we have seen had a corresponding component prop struct to pass in props. Component prop struct, yes. This was quite verbose. Wouldn't it be nice to have props as simple function arguments? Then we wouldn't need to define a prop struct. And instead of typing props dot whatever, we could use just whatever directly. So component allows you to do just that instead of typing the full version. So this is the normal way we should be writing props and component. Instead of that, if you can just annotate with component on this function and title, we don't need to define this at all. Yeah, and the macro will turn into regular component for you. So you can just pass title. Yeah, we don't need to use props dot title like that. So that's what this macro is. Component children. In some cases, you may wish to create a component that acts as a container for some other content without the component needing to know what the content is. To achieve this, create a prop of type element. So, same thing, we are deriving props for this clickable props, and this is the component clickable, this is the UI. Then when we are rendering the component, you can pass in the out of RxX. Okay, so clickable. Yes, this is the way we define. Oh, again inside another component. Body is element. Okay, body is another element. So we are again making an element here with RxX macro. The child field, rather than passing the RxX through regular prop, you may wish to accept children similarly to how elements can have children. The magic children prop lets you achieve this. So derive clone props clickable. This same thing. Yeah, children. Yeah, I've written children here. Children is element. So yeah, basically you don't need to props dot children. Clickable. This one body. Yeah, it's another RSX. So here, yeah, same thing. We are moving to this makes using the component much simpler. Simply put the RSX inside brackets. I not to. What is I? How to I? When running, you can pass in the output of RSX. Yeah, props dot body. Body is like this for the children. but it's here we are defining children itself. Yeah, so you don't need to here mention, just mention props or children. And children you can, how to not be, so uh, just again coming back, href, yeah, this is the link, this is the body, and here we're defining this. Oh, body is another element. So I I is this, oh, it's a hyperlink I think. So that's what I can see here. Oh, I should be indented. That's why I, yeah. Props.href class. Why class? Where is class is coming? Yeah, class is fancy. Yeah, you're doing this thing, and inside this is the children. You can give like this, or unspecified. Oh, okay. So this is the method. So you define a children. Just give element, and when you're building the UI, A is for href thing, and you can do props.href, and class you can fancy, you can style it, and the second prop is children. You can do props.children inside this, and this makes using the command much simpler. Simply put the RSX inside bracket. Yeah, inside bracket. And there is no need of render call or another macro. Okay, another macro is not needed. So what do you give children? Children is, oh, children is this. Oh, okay. You can, yeah, everything you can do in a single clickable. So when you're rendering it, calling it, it's clickable. Yeah, this is the button, and this is the link, and second part, yeah, you don't need to do second macro. You can just use how to that thing. No need of RSX. Okay, that's what they avoided with children. Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah, so this second RSX macro is needed if you are using children here, and props.children. You can just do simply the same way what you're writing here. Let's just a string, yeah, basically. But this is indentation, so this should be in clearly brackets. Yeah, having said that, I think I haven't talked about how to install this. Where is the installation? Getting started? Yeah, getting started. So, you need to install cargo install Dioxus -cli, and when you create dx new, you will get something like this project structure. So you'll get an src distribution assets, and this Dioxus dot thermal. So you can see what is your default platform, and cargo.toml. I added this is the main thing you need. Async std we needed for some async calls, request for one of the example, Saturday is part of that request, and Dioxus logger for logging. So that's about that. Having said that, let's do let's let's quickly walk through the code. Yeah, I didn't touch base with, yeah, now so we are doing all the imports whatever you want. Async std for async calls, Dioxus preload, Dioxus logger for logging and tracing, set a JSON for serialization of JSON value. std time duration is for uh, time duration, sleeping we are getting from here, but duration we are getting from here. And route is another thing. So when you do route, when you want to go from one page to another page, we use route. So let's see how routes are coming. This is a complicated route. Is routing? Yeah, router. In many of your apps, you will want to have different scenes. For a web page, these scenes might be different web pages with their own content. For a desktop app, these scenes might be different views in your app. Okay, so for an app like Dioxus landing page, this landing page has home page and blog. So you need a router feature. We already have it. We can add like that. So just want to double check that. Router we have. And how to use router. Unlike other routers in Rust ecosystem, our router is built declaratively at compile time. This makes it possible to compose our app layout simply by defining enum. So it's a declarative and we can define it basically with enum. So just create an enum with your all components. So this is a component, this is another component. You can just do this, and if you want to give what route, slash home will redirect to this home component, slash blog will redirect to blog component. That's what is mentioned here, and it's inside enum route. And you need to derive routable, that's the important thing, parse eq and clone for this. So as far as you have this setup, your route is ready for home and blog. So now in our example, we are doing the home route as the root route itself, and blog we have blog slash id. So you can give some pass some numbers. So that value will be used in home blog page. Having said that, I just want home page. Okay, just run this. So running this is the Excel. So it will build the project and create a link for us. It's building. Build done. Yeah, ready. Local address is this. I think I already have here. Let's do this. Yeah, there are a lot of things there. Basically, this is our home component, and go to blog. This is our blog component. So go to counter and page up, sorry, up high. You'll see what these things are. So basically, when I click on up, it's up, count is up, down, count is down. This is a timer, it's keep on going. And when I click on this word, it's actually pulling me a word from one of the API call. And you can go to block, it's passing that 3 to here, so that will be shown here. Yeah, when we come back, it's again resetting. So let's see what how these things are working. um, so we have seen our routes and main, we need a main, and we are doing our logging. So since you have this logging, you can do all your logs here. Yeah, and clicking here, so yeah, that log is written. Yeah, it's written here. Certain details, not, yeah, it's showing code, respective code here. Yeah, so that's what that logging. And info starting up, I want to see where is starting up. mm, yeah, info starting up. Yeah, so that's what that. And we are launching this app is our component, main component. That's where we are defining all other components. So it's a function returning element, and inside that we can see RxX macro that will return an element. So inside this, it's actually a router which route all the routes we have. So yeah, this enum route. So basically, it's when we are typing this, it's basically going to our home route, because nothing is there, it's just slash, so it's going there. And home route is basically, so we have the main app. So from here, it's calling main, launching app. From here, it's routing, and since it's slash route, it's going to home. Home is here. We have the component macro attribute that will make this a component, and it's will define props and all, but we don't have any prop. We are not passing anything to this component. And here we are using a use signal hook. So use signal is, let's go to the documentation again. Hooks. So far, yeah, so far our components have had no state like normal REST function. However, in a UI component, it's often useful to have stateful functionality to build user interaction. For example, you might want to track whether the user has opened a drop-down and render different things accordingly. Hooks allows us to create state in our component. So one of the built-in hook is use signal. So it's a built-in one. You can do our own custom one as well. Use signal provides a closure that determines initial value. So we can give initial value 0, we are giving to this count, and you can use that count inside our UI, and use that value and increment it when any event happens. So like here it's a mouse click, so button will have element will have an on click um, event handler. So when this click happens, button click happens, it's increment the count. So this event happens, the count will decrease. So that's what these buttons are. Uh, uh, but how can Dioxus differentiate between multiple hooks in the same component? As you saw in the second example, use signal function were called with the same parameters. So how come they can return different things when counters are different? So and B, this is only possible because two hooks are always called in the same order. So the access knows which is which because the order you call hooks matters. You must follow certain rules when using hooks. Okay, yeah, you can read through this. No hooks in closure, no hooks in loops. Okay, yeah. So coming back to this, so we are building a hook. It's a string hook. We are initializing it as a empty. A running hook, it's a boolean true. Count hook, it's a zero initial value integer. Timer also integer. Now we are defining a use future hook. So this will define a future for us. Let's see where that documentation is. Why it's gone there? So box fixed condition use feature. Oh, it's a yeah use feature. Async hooks. Use feature hook has been replaced with the use resource hook. Yeah, that's another thing I think. I don't know this is there in the latest versions. Use resource automatically describes to a signal that are read within the closure instead of using tuple of dependencies. Yeah, use basically it's a async hook. You can create a async function inside it and you can move values to the async function. Here we are moving a running signal. So that state is moved here. So you can use it and we are using a delay 1 second delay here. So this as far as this running is true, it's keep on incrementing this timer inside this future. So it's runs outside as a separate task, so it won't block any of the other code inside here. So it will just spawn this, um, add a separate task for this and just go to this one. This is use resource. It's another async hook, but only thing is you can return values here. So it's return a resource string. So what it's doing is it's basically calling request. Request is HTTP request library. You can I'm calling random word and getting the JSON and unwrapping it and keeping that vector. It will be array of string. So I'm keeping it here and giving a delay of 3 seconds. Basically this is not needed. Anyway, we are waiting it. Let's see. So we are getting the vector string that is matched. We are getting the first array value that's cloned. If there is something inside, some text, that will be returned, and if nothing, we will return empty string basically. So that's what this resource hook is. And we are defining a response. Yeah, this is basically, yeah, it's just submit a task and get this value for us. So I think I'm using this value somewhere, we'll see in the UI. And use signal is again using for this response state. It's a string dot dot and get response. I'm spawning a, this is another way to submit a async function. This is if you have a CPU intensive task, it's better to spawn. So I'm just spawn this for just showing this example. And here we are getting a get random word, and response is the signal we are passing. So if you see this get random word async function, it's an async function, so it's run separately. Um, so yeah, we are passing the signal string sig, and same thing, we are basically doing the same thing, request random, getting the random word and storing it here and getting the word. Here we are just updating the signal state. So we are updating this response with that word we are getting. Here we are just returning it, right? Returning it. Say use resource, say inbuilt async hook. Here we are using our own function and spawning it and getting the value back. That's the difference. And this value, this response, we can actually use here. So I'm creating a this RSX UI. There's a div and we have a button. When we click on it, it will call that async function, spawn it, and it will get the word, and it will just display it here in H1 in a highlighted manner. And here we got the get word. This is the use resource, right? We got the resource string. So how to extract the value from it is through this match thing. Match ampersand star get word dot read. So that's the way we need to read the value from the resource and extract the word, and you can display it. Since it's an option, you have to handle none also. None will display loading in the RxX in this. It's an element uh, in the UI. So that's what this part. I think I have covered all of them. And RxX has two main thing. One is link, another one is this div component. And what is link? Link is linking this link is this link component, link element. This div is this thing, these two buttons, and this high 5 counter, and div h1 counter is this one, and here we are loading this use resource value that we are displaying here, and word button, that's what this, and we are calling the async function get response. When we are clicking on this word, it's displaying the value here in highlighted manner. the response. So that's what all about this. And if you want to see, if I want to just comment this, you can just comment and say that should automatically remove that value. So that's gone, right? No, it's still there. It didn't save then. Is it gone? Yeah, it's again calling. Project reloaded one file. Return. See the save. Okay. Oh, I think UI thing are not. Yeah, not. It's loading. This thing is again coming. Yeah, this. I think I need to Control C. Again, DX server. It's running the server. Build done. Yeah, that thing is gone. So the UI part won't save automatically. So this is gone. The counter should be gone now. No, it's not going. So we need to Control C and again D6 serve. But if you build done, refresh. Oh, it's again build done. Yeah, it's loading. Yeah, right now. Yeah, now that counter also gone. So UI element part, but if I just comment this, this will break this get word anyway. We commented the UI part. Will comment this code. This will be automatically saved. Yeah, yeah. If we comment anything in the component apart from RSX, it's basically re-rendering. It's rebuilding. Yeah, RSS I think it's HTML part, so it's not detecting it has changed, but maybe. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's gone. Word is coming. Yeah, it's working. Uh, let's get the counterpart back. Yeah, counterpart is not coming. Yeah, that's because you need to. Ah, it's building again. Yeah, counter has come. That's good. I didn't rebuild. Control X. Yeah, it's rebuilding. That's good. When we are changing to uncommenting, it's actually what? Oh, okay, get word is not there. I commented this. That makes sense. That makes sense. Rebuilding. Yeah, building complete, it's reloading, so it has come. So my question is, if I comment like this, it's will it go? Yeah, commenting part is not rebuilding. Let's see, let's wait for some time. Yeah, commenting is not identifying, but uncommenting is getting. So when we are seeing, let's go through the documentation. So this is another place you can see more examples. So there is a example project e-commerce site. There's a lot to learn from this. You can see API calls and in a very standard way how to write components and async functions, request, uh, and main.rs launching. Yeah, somewhat a different way of calling the app. You can attach style sheet here inside the launch. The route is somewhat similar to what we have discussed. Component macro we are using here. Yeah. So that's one example. And if you want to see example for each different concepts, maybe you can use this example. So calculator, they have built in their calculator with this. Yeah, that's will be interesting. Clock, yeah, future. So this way you can see a simple example for use future, use effect. So yeah, and there should be something for link. How do you create links? Um, H1 now, yeah, link component. Yeah, there's an example for link and pop up. Use signal, use coroutine, open message. This is your email. Click open compose window. Open compose window. Yeah, here they are opening a desktop window. Yeah. So there are a lot of examples. This will be a good way to learn Dioxus. I think that's all I want to discuss in this call. Yeah, um, it's not re-rendering. So let me Control C and again DXL. That should remove this component. It's building done. Counter should go. Why counter is, yeah, counter gone. Okay, yeah, I think that's all I need to cover in this video. Thank you for watching this. We will connect in the next one. Thank you.